Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to the first 2 episodes of Final Space. Yeah, 2 episodes, and the reason for this is just pretty simple. Both of the episodes were packaged together in one file on the website I get these from, so it just worked out that way. It wasn't intended, it just, both episodes were put together, which I guess maybe it's a 2-parter, maybe they were released together or something, I don't know. Either way, so Final Space is our new series for today. It is a donation reward series, and I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. I know very little about the show. I know my dad watches it, but that doesn't mean one thing one way or the other, honestly. I don't know anything about it otherwise. Then it's a sci-fi series. The main character is this blonde-haired dude. It has a pretty simple animation and art style, but not a bad one from the little bit I've seen. I also know David Tennant is in it. I don't know what his role is. I don't know anything about that. Also, I have been told by one of you in the comments, back when I first announced this, that apparently the main character is kind of like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, just dumber. Which, I would count that as a spoiler, by the way. Telling me character, personality, and stuff counts as a spoiler. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. But either way, I'm interested to see where this goes. And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it ends up being pretty good. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm not like the biggest sci-fi fan. Just as a genre in general, there's like some sci-fi movies and games and just stories in general, shows, anime, whatever, that I do like. For anime, you could use the example of Steins Gate. Games, you could use Detroit Become Human, stuff like that. But as a whole, I'm not like huge into the genre. It's not as much my thing as, say, fantasy or I guess superhero stuff would be much more my thing. But that doesn't mean I hate sci-fi at all. It just depends on the content, I guess. So it's gonna hopefully be a good one with this. Again, I have no clue. I don't know pretty much anything about this otherwise in terms of its plot and whatnot. I believe the episodes for this, though, are full length, so this is going to be like a 40-minute reaction or so. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I'm just hoping that this ends up being a good series and that we have no issues with it. Oh my goodness, excuse me. No, don't know where that came from. I've been yawning a lot today. So, I mean, I guess it's not too big of a surprise. But as a note, just because I mentioned it in other videos today and stuff, I would suggest checking out my video on the 3-strike policy and all of that. Just as a quick note, basically what it means is that if a show accumulates 3 strikes at any point, it can even happen within one episode, then I drop the show. But strikes will only come for something that really bothers me or offends me or something. Strikes won't just be given out for the smallest things, basically. But there's a lot more info regarding all of that in that specific video. Also, the 10% rule is kind of being redone to kind of just be interest rule. So now it's more along the lines of just whenever my interest in the show pretty much drops to nothing. And either interest in the show itself or interest in reacting to it. So there's no like 10% anymore because that was an arbitrary number as it was. There was no real like way to quantify that. So Yeah. But all of that being said, we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I was looking up the cast because I did not hear David Tennant's voice at all, and apparently he's the Lord Commander, the bad guy. I don't hear it. Like, that's not just me, right? I don't hear David Tennant's voice at all from him. I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, he's doing a voice, but it's like I would have never known that. I would have never been able to tell that that was supposed to be David Tennant. Meanwhile, Hugh, the ship's AI, is voiced by Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny has done a lot of roles outside of like SpongeBob and whatnot, so that doesn't really surprise me all that much. Kevin is Fred Armisen, who I recognize from like Saturday Night Live and all now. I definitely know who he is. And apparently Little Kato, Avocado's son, is voiced by Stephen Yeun. We didn't hear a lot of Little Kato, but Stephen Yeun, you might know from The Walking Dead and whatnot. So that's pretty interesting. And then the last one that I think is really important at the moment is Quinn's character. She's voiced by Tika Sumpter, who has been in a few different things, it looks like, but nothing I know. Nothing that really like stands out to me at all, personally. Although it looks like she's going to be in the live-action Sonic movie. So I think that's the most, like, well-known thing, at least that I can see. In terms of film, it looks like she was in an episode of Law & Order SVU. Yeah. Either way, so the first two episodes here, like, this is stupid. This is excessively stupid. Like, you guys, one of you was, I don't remember who it was who said it, but one of you had said that he was like, that Gary was like, what's his name? Wow, now his name is escaping me. Star-Lord. Excuse me. You were saying he was like Star-Lord, only dumber? I don't see the connection to Star-Lord. He's dumb as fuck, but I don't see the connection to Star-Lord. I just don't see it. Avocado as a character is just like probably the most sane one there, to be honest. He's definitely the voice of reason type of character. The robots and Hugh, the intelligence and all, none of them stand out. Like, I kind of agree with Gary on the one dude, the companion, the insanity companion or whatever he was. I agree that he's annoying as all fuck. I hate him already. And he was just like generic, oh my gosh, my mind is blanking on a lot of things. Generic AI thing, sentient AI. Super generic. Quinn as a character is interesting so far, but mostly because of what I presume to be a future Quinn coming to warn them and everything. That's the biggest reason she's interesting. Plus, she does seem to be one of the smarter characters in the show. The Lord Commander himself, outside of the David Tennant voice thing, is, I guess, a little intimidating. He's not like a completely pathetic type villain like, let's say, Ludo in Star vs. the Forces of Evil. He's not quite like that. He does have some level of intimidation to him. I mean, he did tear off Gary's arm. But yeah, in general, I just feel like I need to see more of him to really say on him. The story... So, Gary was just some random dude, came into a bar, saw Quinn, instantly fell in love with her. And so he decided he wanted to try and impress her by stealing the outfit from a ship captain and posing as one to try and, again, impress her and get her to, you know, basically fuck him. Let's be honest. He wanted to get her in bed. She saw through it with ease and was just kind of like, go away. Though she didn't see through the fact that he wasn't a pilot at first, which kind of felt off to me. Like, it's like, especially considering with what we saw afterwards of her, she's shown to be like one of the smartest and most observant characters. How could she not realize that? It just seems a little silly to me. But yeah, it's just outside of that. So he ends up getting caught and everything and is put onto this ship for imprisonment. I don't know why his imprisonment's on a ship. That makes very little sense to me, but whatever. And apparently certain things he does on the ship can, like, increase his sentence. He's been up there for 5 years currently. And, yeah, it's just these little things can, for some reason, increase his sentence. Such as the entire cookie thing, which I felt was kind of stupid. And after the ship is almost blown to smithereens, he ends up discovering... Well, no, actually, it's before the ship is blown up. He ends up discovering, as he calls it, Mooncake, this apparently planet destroyer. Mooncake is kind of simple. It has this weird way of speaking, but it's kind of like this simple little happy creature that seems to bond with Gary pretty quickly. Again, I have no real feelings on Mooncake right now. It's just I don't care. But then, like, bounty hunters come, which includes Avocado, and somehow the bounty hunters are stopped because Gary goes in, like, he folds light, or light folds, as they call it, or whatever. Basically, he goes into warp drive. And it causes everything to get messed up. The ship gets messed up. He barely gets to his helmet in time. And yeah. And in the second episode, he and Avocado are infiltrating this place. Avocado's trying to get his son back. Gary is just trying to basically take care of things and all, so that they're not after him and Mooncake anymore. And they go to get these papers done, and this guy makes Gary wear this dead alien woman's skin. And it's like, that alone is so fucking gross. But then the skin is scanned by this, like, just this robot scanner. And he's sent to the home of the dead alien woman. And the family thinks their mother and wife are alive again, which is extremely fucked up and horrible. And then the kids are fighting over and like, split the skin open, and it's like, this, like, shit. That was, in my opinion, one of the most horrifying just things from an emotional standpoint. Not like horrifying in terms of like scary, but like, imagine yourself being in that kind of standpoint from an emotional level. That is mortifying. That is just straight up traumatizing. Not only did these kids lose their mother, this guy lose his wife before, but then they think that she's back and have to go through something that traumatizing and horrible. Like, shit. I legitimately felt bad for them. Um, I really did, because that was just not okay. Um, Avocado, meanwhile, finds his son, but it's a trap, and since he and his son can't hear each other through the glass, he doesn't know and gets caught. He's talking to the Lord Commander when Gary comes in, and Gary gets his arm ripped off. They end up escaping. Avocado's son is moved, apparently, to somewhere else, and Avocado and Gary form a friendship while Avocado helps attach a robotic arm to Gary. So, yeah, these first 2 episodes were stupid as fuck. Like, pretty much everything about them was just absolutely stupid. There's no other way to put it. It's just so fucking dumb. But it's not bad. It's not great or anything. It's not like really good. But it's not bad. There was nothing inherently offensive with any of it. I mean, aside from the fact that Gary is a little bit of a jackass. But there wasn't like anything like super offensive or really bad in terms of it. The worst part about it, I think, was the pacing. It was really rushed, especially in the first episode. The second episode was much better, mind you. But the first episode, it was really rushed. It just kept like switching from scene to scene, and it went by way too fast. It felt like that should have been 2 episodes in and of itself. The second episode, like I said, it did much better at it, but it still rushed through a few things, and I feel like it probably could have also been 2 episodes worth of content if they worked it right. But again, it was still a lot better. And it definitely did some things, like I said, I wasn't expecting. The fact that Gary lost his arm in only the second episode, like usually when a character would lose a limb like that, it comes like much later down the line. Like at the end of, not even usually at the end of like a first season. It usually wouldn't happen until like a second season. So it's like that really did surprise me. And the entire thing, again, with the alien mother's skin and all was really fucking terrifying and horrible. But by the way, I'm not saying that as if it's a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying, like, that really, it's just like, people have said that I'm likely an empath because I feel, I can connect to and feel what others feel, and I feel for others in terms of, like, if something's going bad with them and stuff. And I really empathize with these characters here. And that happens in a lot of cartoons and anime and stuff where I've been able to empathize with characters. I mean, Detroit Become Human, for games as an example, is actually a really good example of a lot of characters that I've empathized with and really felt for. But yeah, it's just like, I really did with that family after that, because it's like, holy fuck. Why would you do that? Why would you write that? That's so fucking messed up. But again, it wasn't, not in a bad way necessarily. It wasn't like poorly handled. It wasn't like super offensive or like anything like really poorly written or anything. It was handled well. And they made it very clear that it was supposed to be horrifying, that it was supposed to be traumatizing. It's not like they played it up just for laughs or just for the sake of being like just shock value or anything. They made sure you knew that that was supposed to be a traumatizing event. They made very clear with all of that how you were supposed to view that. So, I mean, yeah, they did play it for laughs a little bit, especially later on when Gary smacked into the ship that the family was in and everything. But overall, it's like you could tell that they made sure that you knew that they acknowledged that kind of thing was fucked up. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, overall, these first 2 episodes, again, they weren't bad. But they weren't great either. It was just pure dumb, pure stupidity. but it's not worth dropping at the moment. I can say that with certainty. It's worth continuing on for now. I feel like I can continue to give it a chance. It didn't rack up any strikes. It didn't like really like show itself as worthy of being dropped or anything. So I really don't think it's in any way bad enough to stop watching for now. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing. And like I said, the second episode was much better than the first, not only in pacing, but in a lot of different ways. Um, and I do hope to see them capitalize on that. So let's see where that goes in the future. For now, tell me in the comments below what you thought of these first 2 episodes of Final Space. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,